Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar on mitigating risk and managing quality and compliance with TradeStone. We're going to go ahead and get started today. My name is Tanya Stockbridge. I'm the Director of Marketing for TradeStone, and I'm going to be your moderator. So I just want to do a quick introduction. Hold on just a second. We're having some difficulties here. All right, so just getting through the logistics. Please note that due to the large number of people we have on the call, the audio today is muted. Please use the question box to the right of your screens if you have a question. If we're unable to get to your question, we'll note everything down and make sure we get you an answer when the webinar is over. Also wanted to let you know we are going to be recording today's session, and a recorded copy is going to be made available to you within the next couple of days on our website. So we will be providing that shortly. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chris Morrison, who will be talking about quality and compliance today.
Thanks, Tanya, and thanks to everyone listening in this morning. We appreciate the time. In this session today, we wanted to highlight what we believe to be a critical part of every retailer's operation, quality management. First, before we get into the detail, we wanted to briefly introduce TradeStone. TradeStone enables retailers, wholesalers, and their sourcing partners to unify the development, sourcing, ordering, and delivery of merchandise. And we call this merchandise lifecycle management. TradeStone provides software, content, hosting, and deployment services across a wide range of capabilities spanning product development, sourcing, order management, supplier management, global trade management, and of course, quality. TradeStone is a recognized platform for market leaders. We serve a broad set of global brands across numerous retail segments. We understand that quality requirements are different across these segments and have built our solution to handle the differences. There are also a large number of suppliers that work with their retail partners within our solution, and we believe that supplier collaboration is critical to achieving quality goals. But more on that in a minute. The challenging part of quality is that when you do it well, it's expected. And when there's issues, it can sometimes become headline news. Several years ago, for example, the Gap hit the news about child labor. As a result of this and similar issues, we've seen a rise in the focus on corporate social responsibility and management across the entire supply chain. Additionally, government regulations play a critical role. For example, Gibson Qatar recently hit the news concerning the Lacey Act. Regulations obviously can also have an operational impact. ISF, for example, can withhold cargo under 10+2 with significant fines. And most interestingly, with the rise of social media, quality has become far more public. For example, video hauls are becoming more prevalent. Ellie and Blair, featured here, have had more than 150 million views on YouTube rating fashion, talking about fit, sizing, among other things at very specific retailers. So in a way, quality has become far more public than it ever has in the past. But quality is a very broad term. And our view is that quality plays a role at each step in the development to delivery process. Nearly every role across a retail or manufacturing organization interacts with quality at some level, so it's truly cross-functional. Regulations can change quickly, and assuring compliance can be an ongoing challenge. Quality is a highly collaborative process involving testing companies, vendors, and obviously multiple groups internally. And for many companies, there's no one version of the truth. There's considerable data moving around at any point in time, often captured in email and Excel. Our view of quality is that it should be an integrated part of the entire life cycle. Quality plays a role at every step in the process, from managing social and ethical requirements for suppliers, to managing lab dip samples, point of measures and fit during the design process, to assuring compliance against the Lacey Act and other regulatory actions, assuring that HTS codes are properly submitted, and then as shipments are actually moving across the world, assuring the testing and compliance regulations that are required, and finally assuring inspection of goods before they arrive on shore. Our product capabilities cover this entire life cycle, from both quality compliance and quality assurance. So how does TradeStone help? Our solution spans the entire design to delivery process, so everyone is working off the same information as products move through the life cycle. All roles that play a part in the process access the same system, each doing their part. So whether it's a design team, a tech design team, a packaging team, a vendor management team, a logistics or imports team, sourcing office, and obviously the QA team, all access the same system and the same data as products are being developed from design to delivery. But more importantly, not only is everyone internally working off the same information, so are your external parties as well. Your agents, suppliers, factories, testing and inspection companies all access TradeStone to assure that information is being shared at the right point in time. As a result, information such as testing results can reside in one place. You can send alerts to suppliers to provide notice that say compliance documents are due, and tests can be scheduled and tracked directly with testing companies online in one system. On the same platform, all the core development processes are managed. For example, tech packs are created with testing instructions attached that are sent to suppliers upfront in the process. Compliance and audit schedules and documents can be maintained in one place and accessed as needed, and order inspections can be scheduled and tracked in one system. On top of that, we capture regulatory content to assure that you are meeting quality objectives. An example is automatically pre-classing an HTS code during the design process. That can be reviewed in an exception mode versus having to manually complete for each item. If the design parameters change, so will the associated STS code as appropriate and filter all the way through the entire process. All of this leads to real results. We view in the end that we're providing one version of the truth for data, real-time visibility, online communication, being able to move away from email and Excel. For example, we have integration directly to testing companies so that as test results are being completed, they can be uploaded to the system, viewed, and tracked in one place. The system's role-based, so that the right data is going to the right people at the right time, both internally and externally. And finally, the system is built around alerting and automation so that the QA team can deal with exceptions versus every single transaction. And we believe that we're the only company who has embedded quality across the entire design delivery lifecycle. So to summarize, our view of quality really spans across the item, vendors, and the order as well. On the item side, we support a wide range of capabilities from managing materials, lab dips, point of measure, fit evaluations, testing instruction, HTS, and assuring CPSIA compliance. On the vendor side, we assure supplier management areas such as factory audits, compliance both from a social and ethical, and also KPIs and tracking to assure that suppliers are meeting their quality goals and yours. And the ordering side, being able to schedule and manage inspections and assuring regulatory compliances such as 10+2. So with that, we thought, given the broad set of capabilities that we have, we do believe that quality should be considered across any of the traditional PLM or sourcing initiatives. We thought today we'd focus on 3 specific examples of how these types of capabilities have been deployed. First, we'll focus on an example in the product design process around fit evaluations. The second, we'll focus on a sourcing example around product testing. And the third, we'll focus on supplier management in an area around factory audits. Our first example is focused on product design, and this is from an apparel retailer we've been working with for quite a while. They are focused on the plus-size market, so getting fit and sizing right is critical to their business. Quality was part of their broader MLM implementation. This customer leverages TradeStone to manage the sampling and fit process, to create sample requests and submits to the supplier online versus using Excel and email. Multiple samples can be tracked, fit tests can be conducted, the information can be inputted online, everything can be tracked, and any corrective action can be made within the system. This provides them one place for all the data to be managed, stored, and tracked. From this, we've seen great benefits in this area, such as the reduced number of fit tests per item. They were able to lower returns by almost 30% by assuring that the quality was right up front in the process. And they also have been able to get greater supplier accountability by being able to review things such as sample history, accuracy of samples, and tracking that as well. So again, our first example was very much focused on the sampling process, how that flows into fit evaluations, and then being able to schedule and manage that workflow all within the system, directly interacting with the suppliers. The second example is focused on sourcing, and this is really in the case of adding product testing into the process. Our example is from a mass merchant, and as part of their broader MLM implementation, they focused on QA's role in the sourcing process in terms of centrally managing testing requirements. The QA team centrally sets up testing requirements, and as products are being developed, those testing requirements are then added automatically to the tech packs. In some cases, testing would be done prior to awarding the offer to a vendor, and in other cases, it'll be completed afterwards. Either way, the process follows the same timeline and workflow in the system and is managed in one place. Once a test is required, the testing lab gets an alert on their dashboard to perform the actual test. They have all the information in front of them. Once the test is complete, the lab updates the test, and the results are integrated directly into TradeStone. The QA team can then view those, accept the results, or ask for a retest. Sourcing then is notified to trigger any action of the supplier if it's required based on the results of the QA test. Again, all this happens in one system, so the test can be managed, stored, and tracked in one place. The benefits of this approach have been that the testing company is seamlessly integrated in with TradeStone. They've seen increased accuracy around testing results and to be able to also improve their supplier tracking and selection based on results of tests. The final example is focused on supplier management, and here we're really focusing in on factory audits. The third example is from a hardlines retailer, and as part of their broader MLM implementation, they focused on factory audit and compliance. In this case, they're really focused on having the suppliers online in the system and being able to have the QA team trigger an audit for a supplier and have it scheduled based on an annual event or as needed based on a rolling schedule. The supplier gets a notice on their dashboard and then needs to respond. If the information is uploaded in the right point in time, they continue to get an alert to indicate that their test is out or their compliance schedule is off. The system then tracks the workflow and the dates and the documents within the system. The benefits that this customer is seeing is that they have far more control over the audit process. They're able to reduce the amount of effort required to request and manage the audits. They're able to schedule and provide alerts. So they've been able to improve the quality of their vendors and have actually taken some steps to consolidate vendors as well. So across all three examples, there's a number of similarities. TradeStone can really help support a wide range of quality initiatives. There's a broad set of capabilities here, but beyond that, there's a couple themes that we continue to see. First, most quality initiatives are focused on becoming more systematic, so moving off of email and Excel, being able to manage in one system online collaboratively with all parties involved in the process. Whether that's a testing company, whether that's your vendor, or your internal roles as well, really having one place to go to manage, track the quality process. This obviously leads to one version of the truth, which helps not only understand where you've been, but also where you're going. This allows our customers to become far more proactive in managing potential quality issues and becoming much more exception-oriented. So in the end, our view is that quality is an integral part of a broader MLM roadmap. And with that, we'll turn it over to any questions.
Thanks very much, Chris. We're just going to go to the next slide. We encourage you to visit our website to learn more about MLM and how we feel that quality plays a role. We encourage you to also contact us at marketing@tradestonesoftware.com to set up a meeting to discuss your quality and compliance needs. Feel free to also call us at our office directly. Our phone number is 978-281-3723. You can feel free to ask for myself, Tanya Stockbridge. And of course, on the social media side, as Chris said, that is becoming much, much larger. So we encourage you to follow our news on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So with that, we're going to go ahead and open it up to questions. As I mentioned earlier, please use the question box on the right hand of your screen. And we already have had a few come in, so if you bear with us just a minute, we're going to organize them and be back with you in 30 seconds. All right, so our first question is, which testing services do we have an interface established with? So Chris?
So as with the entire TradeStone solution, we are web service based. So we provide standard web services across a wide number of integration points, from item data, purchase order data. With regard to testing services, we provide a web service in that area. We've then used that web service to integrate against a number of the leading companies out there. For example, Intertech and BV are two that come to mind that we've integrated to historically in the past.
Great. We're going to go on to our next question, which is, what is the difference between your approach versus a quality management point solution?
Right. So, TradeStone's approach is really to layer quality into every step in the process. While most quality management solutions focus really on the back end supply chain, if you will, on the compliance and inspection part, and we certainly provide capabilities in that area and believe that that's really important. We also feel that it's critical to manage quality upfront in the process as well, tied specifically to areas such as even up as as early in the design process, by managing the testing process, by managing point of measure and fit all in one place on the apparel side. So our view is that quality really runs the entire gamut. We provide centralized QA capabilities so that you have one place to go to really manage testing requirements, compliance requirements, set up inspections, and things like that. But then that information actually plays a role in a number of different process components along the way. In addition, we focus exclusively on retail. There's other players that focus across a wide range of industries. But our goal has always been to understand those requirements as deeply as possible for retail. Quality and compliance for airplanes, for example, is very different than what they are for a sweater. So we've remained very focused on retail.
Great. Looks like we just had another question come in. We're becoming more serious about proactively managing quality compliance. How does TradeStone help, and what should we be doing and how?
Right. So one of the areas that we touched on a number of the capabilities today, we also provide, from our perspective, kind of a constant understanding of what's going on from the legal and social side as well, so that we're baking those requirements into our best practice industry model. So we try and keep on top of those requirements as well to keep you current. And with the input from our advisory board, we have global industry expertise at our fingertips, helping to guide that best practice. So again, our view is that across the board, from looking at quality, is to consider it as part of the overall life cycle, but there's very discrete projects as well that you can focus on to kind of get things moving. No one bites off everything at once, so starting in a particular area is always good, and we certainly try and help our customers prioritize where the lowest hanging fruit, if you will, to begin.
Great. We have one more also along the testing side, which is you've talked about integrating testing and inspection partners. Are you finding that these partners are willing to load data for us?
Yeah, so most of these companies are providing some form of, we call it electronic testing results. Certainly there's the hard copy side as well, but oftentimes that information is available for them, and they're sending it either in spreadsheets or in some of their internal systems. And we've generally found that sending it into TradeStone has not been a major effort to do that. In some cases, there are some changes to their process required to load, say, field-level data, versus a scanned PDF. But at the same time, they're able to get benefit out of this because they're going to have greater visibility to your testing needs, your information, and can then have the ability to plan and manage their workforce in a more effective way. So, in general, like with any integration, we found that there are some process changes, but for the most part, we found that the testing and inspection partners have been very willing.
Great. All right, I think that's just about all the questions that we've had come in. So with that, we say thanks very much for joining us. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to email us directly. Like I said, we encourage you to use the marketing@tradestonesoftware.com email address, and we'll be sure to get back to you. So thanks very much, everybody, for your time today, and we hope you've learned a lot, and look for this to be coming to be posted to our website in the next couple of days. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.